What's up, guys? TheArtistVersion1 here, and welcome back to another edition of Stories No One Asked For, the podcast. And if you don't know by now, or if you're a new listener, a couple of years ago, I wrote a little book called, Stories No One Asked For. And upon a few attempts at writing a follow-up, two attempts that is, I figured why not just take the stories that I was going to put into a second book or a third book, which would have been my third book, and just put them into a podcast form. And that's what I do here on Stories No One Asked For, the podcast. And sometimes I bring on guests and we let them tell the stories that you didn't ask for and everything. And I got a good one here for you tonight. Actually, one that I actually made a short film about me doing some lip sync battles. So that's going to be interesting. But before we get into those stories here, first thing I want to mention here, I am actually playing with the idea of actually turning this podcast into a bi-weekly podcast. Because one, I don't have enough guests lined up at the moment, or the guests that I do have lined up, busy schedules, you know. And the short list of stories that I do have to tell, I'm going to blow through them all. So it's not official yet. Plus, the numbers started out really great, and they're not doing so well now. So that's why I might switch it to a bi-weekly podcast. So yeah. And before we get into tonight's story, I want to give a great shout out to the people over at MoviesAreUSA.biz, which is a great website where you can head on over and find those hard to find TV shows and movies that have either never been released on Blu-ray or DVD, or haven't been released on Blu-ray and DVD in quite a long time, and they'll put those on Blu-ray or DVD for you for a great reasonable price. And if that price just isn't reasonable enough for you, you can use my checkout code ARTIST, ARTIST, at checkout and save yourself not 10, not 20, not 30, not 40, but 50% on your checkout. And if that wasn't enough for you, you're going to get free first class shipping on top of all that. And if you look through the 3,500 titles they have to choose from, and for some reason you're like, they don't have what I want, well, hey, email him because he takes requests. I actually just messaged him today for a request. I wanted this movie from 1994 called Without Warning. He looked it up, had it, threw it on DVD for me. Great website, great people over there. Like I said, obscure TV shows, streaming shows that they don't release on DVD, which they should. And I mean, look at the news lately. Look at Black Friday. You know, Black Friday used to be a plethora of going to Target and Walmart and getting those, deals on DVDs and Blu-rays. And now it's just sad and pathetic. And Best Buy and Target getting rid of the physical media, and it's just sad. So websites like MoviesAreUSA.biz keeping that alive. So head on over to MoviesAreUSA.biz, pick you up some movies, some TV shows. Use that checkout code ARTIST, save 50% on your purchase. Let them know that Artist from the Stories No One Asked For podcast sent you. All right, so let's get into it. Delicious. So anybody who knows me knows I'm a big fan of lip syncing, man. I'll lip sync fucking anything. Hell, I'll sing anything, even though I'm not a very good singer. So at the time when this story takes place, I was working at Hy-Vee, that fucking hellhole, and we were having company Christmas parties at the Paramount Theater. So the first year we just did like poker night, we actually did that twice, but I'll bring that up here. But we did poker night in the first year. I don't even know what the internet. Oh yeah, we just had prize drawings for the first year, So the next year though, they figured they would add a little extra layer onto it, and they had lip sync battle, because at the time Jimmy Fallon was doing lip sync battle on the Tonight Show, plus LL Cool J's lip sync battle was on Spike TV at the time, and those were just all the rave and everything. So they figured, why not do it with us? And I was the first one to sign up. I was like, oh, I got to be in on this, You know, like, because, like, I loved watching lip sync battle. You know, it was something I always wanted to do. Like, whenever I watch those, I just get that, like, giddy feeling like I want to do it. And, like, even, you know, and it even goes back further than that. You know, it goes back to, like, high school. I mentioned in the talent show episode where, you know, I was known for like three things. One, the guy who wears sunglasses. Two, I was in the talent show. Three, that guy who made that lip syncing Kelly Clarkson video. Because one night I got bored in my room and I took my camera and I just started lip syncing to Kelly Clarkson, Since You've Been Gone. And like my friends thought it was like the funniest fucking thing ever. And not like in a like, ha, you're a dumbass type of way. They just thought it was funny. So like since then, I've just always been a fan of just like lip syncing. That's why like whenever you see like quote unquote music videos from me, they're usually like out of the ordinary. You know, it's not like me just singing Metallica. You know, it's nothing like that. You know, it's like Ashley Tisdale or Demi Lovato. You know, something like that. It's usually something out of the ordinary. Every now and then it'll be something on point like Dead by April or there was another one I did. What was it? I can't remember. I know I've done a couple of Dead by April. I know that. Oh, Into the Ocean by Blue October. That's one I did. So anyway, so I signed up for the lip sync battle, and now it's on. You know, because like I want to win this. You know, nothing was on the line. You know, but I want to win this, so I have to like pick the song now. And there was so many songs I could have choose from, but like I had to go look at it at like I had to look at it as like what's gonna make me stand out, and what's gonna get me to win. Because yeah, I can get up there and do Don McLean's American Pie, but that's not gonna get me to fucking win. You know who's gonna pick that? So believe it or not, the first song I landed on was a 21 Pilot song. I was really into this song called Ride. You know, loved the song, had a lot of energy in it. But again, it was one of those songs like good song, had energy, but like that's not going to get you to win in a lip sync battle. Go look at LL Cool J's, lip sync battle show, and look at Tom Holland doing Rihanna's Umbrella. You really think if he would have did Singing with the Rain the whole time, he would have won that? No. You have to do something that's going to stand out. So, so I got thinking. I went through like the usual suspects. Cher. I thought about Cher for a little bit. I thought about doing Turn Back Time. Was it Turn Back Time? Yeah, Turn Back Time. I thought about doing that. And again, like I didn't have the ass for that, for one. If you saw the music video, you get that joke. You know. But then it hit me. I was like, you know what would stand out? Rihanna. Rihanna's S&M. And I was dead set on that. I was like, that'd be good, Rihanna S&M. Like, people would see that, be lip syncing to S&M by Rihanna. That's it. That's the one right there. So we had to turn in our song to this guy in charge. His name was Andy. Andy, like, controlled the lip sync battle for the next 2 years. So I was like, okay, Rihanna S&M, because, like, that's going to be dope right there. Like that's gonna get me to stand out. I go on stage, my fat ass is doing S&M by Rihanna. That's it, man, right there. It's like the day before I got to turn it in, and I'm just like, it's good. It's a good choice. Don't get me wrong, it's a good choice, but I'm really gonna fucking lose my dignity if I go up there and lip sync to this. So, you know what? Maybe we should backtrack on this a little bit. So again, it's like the day before I got to turn this song in. So like I started listening to Lady Gaga, and I almost landed on Dance in the Dark, which again, great song by Gaga, but again, I don't think it would have got me to win. So then I finally landed on this Meghan Trainor song. Because at the time I was really into Meghan Trainor. And it was like her newest one, or new-ish, at the time. And it was her song called No. My sign is no, my number is no. So I was like, okay, and like I was trying to find like a song that didn't have like a lot of breaks. to where like because like I can't fucking dance, you know. I'm about to try, but I didn't want a lot of breaks where like I would just stand there awkwardly. And this song didn't have too many of them, but I was like, you know what, I could probably pull this off. And plus, I got like the idea to turn this shirt I had into a no shirt. Like I was gonna put no on it, and then like at a certain time, like take off the shirt that I was wearing and reveal this shirt. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going with Megan Trainor no on this. So I turn in, I write it down on a piece of paper. I give it to Andy and I slide it across the fucking table to him because like I'm at customer service, so I slide it across the desk to him, and he just looks at it. He's like, "I'm not reading that." I was like, "No, it's my song for a lip sync battle," and he's like, "Oh, okay." And he picks it up and looks at it, and he just like puts his head down and just shakes his head like like son of a bitch. I was just like, "It's a good one, isn't it?" He was just like, "Yeah, well, it's a good one." Like not really. So, um, so he's like, like a part of him is just like, God damn it, like I don't want to see this, you know. So then I start preparing and shit like that. Um, so the first thing I do is I make these cards because okay, so here's the backstory with the cards. So at the time, one of my things to do at work was to just go over to people and say, "Do it better." That was like, like if it was like the slightest little thing you did wrong, just to fuck with you, I'd be like, do it better, you know? Then it escalated to do it better, and all of our uniform shirts had a breast pocket. So then it escalated to do it better, and I'd take out a piece of paper or like a card essentially from my breast pocket and hand it to him, and it would say, "Do it better," you know. So I was like, okay, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make little cards that say no. So then when Megan Trainor is singing, my sign is no, my number is no, I pull out a fucking card and it says no. I throw it. Then it's my number is no. Boom. My sign is no. Boom. And I just whip the cards into the crowd. So I sit at my little table that I had in my room at the time, and I use masking tape. So like what I did was I had these little pieces of paper and I put masking tape in the shape of the letters NO, and then I just colored them all black and peeled the tape off. So then I had like these nice block letters of NO and everything. So that was cool. So then I did the same thing for the shirt. I just taped over this shirt that I had, did the same fucking thing, and just peeled the letters off so that I had no right there. So really like, dime store fucking trick, but it worked. So, um, but I also wanted to put like the fucking, again, I wanted to stand out, man. So I had this song. People are going to be like, all right, fat boy singing Megan Trainor. That's going to work. I got the cards. I got the fucking shirt where I'm going to like, there's a moment in the song where like, oh my, there's like this moment where it builds like, like it builds up to this moment. So like at that moment, I'm going to take off the shirt that I'm wearing, turn around to the crowd, boom, they see the shirt that says no, and we got it, But I needed that coup de grace. I needed that je ne sais quoi. So I go on eBay and I buy a fucking confetti blaster. One of those ones where you twist and poof, and confetti just rains down. Technically, was supposed to approve that by people, but I didn't. I'm walking around fast forward a little bit. I'm walking around the party the whole time with this thing because I taped it up. I covered it in like black tape, so people wouldn't see what the fuck it is. And like I'm walking around the party and people are like, "What is that? What is that?" I was like, "You'll find out." And they're just like, "What?" Because like again, nobody took this seriously. People were just like, "Okay, it's a lip sync battle." Me, I'm just like, "This is fucking for real." Like LL Cool J is gonna be fucking here and shit. Like I took it fucking for real. So, so all that's ready to go. So I'm like, okay, so I got all that stuff to say now. So I was like, let's take it one step further. How much further can I go? And that is, why not throw some dance moves in there? Now, again, I've mentioned previously, I can't dance for shit. So there's like a couple moments in there where I'm just like, I can throw in some moves and everything. I can throw in a snake, like that side to snake, I can throw that in. Plus, I can do a nice little shoulder shimmy, So like, there's that moment where nah to the no to the no no. So I throw in that little shoulder shimmy, and like I'm in my living room, like practicing this shit. Again, I'm dead set on taking this for real. Like I want this more than probably anybody who signed up for it. You know, like they're doing this like, oh, this is gonna be fun. Me, I'm just like, you're all going down. So, um, so yeah, so like I'm like preparing in my living room like 2 weeks before, like doing the moves and shit. Then like the day before, I add like this little wipe around move on my head. Like there's like this one part of this song, and I do like this move where like I wipe my hand around, then I do it again, and it was sick. I kind of felt like a choreographer there for like 10 seconds because I was just like, it's a sick move. Um, mm. So the day comes. And a lot of shit went on this day. Let me tell you, because like, the story's on my list, so I'm not gonna go too far into it. But there is a story in my book titled Tatiana, and there's a big part of the story with Tatiana here. But like, something happened between me and her this day. Um, you know, Plus we're having poker night again, and I was playing some craps, and then I stopped playing, and I go back to the poker table later, and we'll get to that. So, um, the incident with Tatiana happens, and again, I'll go into that when we get to that episode. But let's just say an incident happens, and I kind of separate myself from her for the rest of the evening, and I'm waiting to go on and perform. I'm kind of like making the rounds, talking to people, everything like that, and the time comes, and I get on stage, and it's go down. Now up until this point, people just knew me as like, oh, fucking Will. He's the funny fat guy. He cracks a joke every now and then, and that's that. They didn't know anything about like I have performed. I've once performed in front of 800 people and controlled them in the palm of my fucking hand. I've been in Greece. I've done this and that. I don't think they knew I was in the Super Bowl. They don't know this stuff about me, so they don't know what fucking they're about to see. They don't know why I'm walking around with this like tube covered in electrical tape. I'm pretty sure it was electrical tape. Yeah, it was duct tape the next year. Um, they don't know why I'm walking around with this tube covered in electrical tape, so they're like, what the hell, dude? So I get on stage and I put the confetti blaster in the middle of the stage. Cause like I know when I'm gonna grab that. So I don't need it in my hand at the moment. Song starts, and oh, I forgot to mention this. So the cards I made, the no cards, I made like there's like 3 portions where she's like, my sign is no, my number is no. So I made like 9 cards. For some reason, I didn't grab all the fucking cards. So I only had 3 of them for some reason. So I couldn't whip all the cards into the audience like I wanted to. So like I think I could only whip like 1, if I remember correctly. So and I also forgot this. So my friend Haley's there. I've mentioned Haley before. So I asked Haley before I go on stage, I was like, hey, when I go up, can you record it for me on my phone? She was like, yeah, of course, absolutely. So they call my name to go on stage, and I hand her my phone. And I go on stage, put the confetti blaster down, music starts, and I start going. So I start doing my little shimmy, my shoulder shimmy and everything, and people are getting into it, Like, again, we're at the Paramount Theater. I am performing on the stage of the Paramount Theater in Cedar Rapids. All right, this is the same stage where, like, some of my favorite comedians have performed on. People like Gabriel Iglesias, Brian Regan, and I'm standing on the same stage that they once performed on. I mean, on a much smaller scale, but still, it's still fucking cool. So, the crowd's getting a little hyped. They're getting behind it because they at this point, I think they've noticed how seriously I've taken it because, like, one of the things I requested from Andy was I want to go like close to last as possible, and he was like, I can make that happen because it's better to go on last because then you're like in the recent memory of people, you know. And people have gone up there and they've already done like Dick in a Box, which funny story. Side note, I told our general manager, whose name was Katie. She was like, "What song are you doing tomorrow, Will?" It was the day before. And I was like, "Oh, I'm doing No by Megan Trainor." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "I was gonna do Rihanna S&M, but I kind of didn't want to lose my dignity." And she was just like, "Yeah, and plus I would have fired you." I was like, "What?" She was like, "It's family friendly, Will." I was like, "Oh, okay." But like Dick in the Box got approved, So go figure. So anyway, and some other I don't even remember any of the other songs that got played that year. Yeah, I honestly don't remember. Anyway, so I'm performing and everything. I'm doing my little fucking shimmy, my shoulder shimmies and the best I can. Then that moment comes that turn around, I take off the shirt that I'm wearing, and I'm waiting for that fucking moment. I do like a Dolph Ziggler. If anybody ever saw Dolph Ziggler's like entrance, he like slicks his hair back, does that little hip wiggle and everything at the right moment, and then he turns around. I did that shit. So like at that build up there, it's like do the little hair thing and do the hip wiggle, turn around, and like the fucking no shirt's there, and like I kind of give like a little motion that like it's there so people see it. Oh man, they fucking loved it. They ate that shit up. And then the last note to the song is, I to the no, no, no. And then the song ends. So, like, right before that, I grabbed the confetti cannon. And, like, there it is. I to the no, no, no. Confetti just raining down and shit. And Andy comes out on stage and is just like, what? What? Just freaking out and everything. So, overall, great performance. And again, some people just got up there and just did not understand the assignment. Just got up there and just, mouthed the song, essentially. So, they get all the contestants on the stage. I think there was like, I don't know, I want to say 10 of us. It couldn't have been more than 10. And they do the old-fashioned, like, okay, this one, and they put a hand over him, and they applaud for it and everything. So it came down to me and Dick in a Box. And fun fact about Dick in a Box, the lady who performed that, she was actually on a TV show. She was on Cake Wars, I believe it was, on Food Network. Yeah. So, it was like neck and neck between us, So we just could not get, they went back and forth with applause, back and forth and everything. So then Andy, to this day, this pisses me off. So Andy, in his, wisdom here, thought of a brilliant idea to break this tie. Because, like, it's back and forth. People are just like, okay, the applause just ain't doing it. It was dead even with applause. Although at one point, and I'm not just saying this because I wanted to win, but there was at one point, I'm like, okay, the applause is obviously louder for me. Because, like, we did it 3 times for each other. But, like, there was one point where I'm like, that was clearly louder for me. Why are we still here? I forgot which time it was. But I want to say the second, but don't quote me on that. So Andy's like, I got an idea. I was like, okay. What, are we going to sudden death? Like, what are we doing? I got another song. I can whip one out right now. Let's go, Fucking put on Share Believe. Let's go, So he pulls out a coin. And he's like, all right, I'm going to flip the coin. And then even, what was her fucking name? I want to say her name was Sandy, but I don't think that's right. I don't know. The girl was just like, just give it to Will. He really wants it. Which at that point, I didn't want it that way. Part of me was just like, half my brain was like, yeah, fucking take that. But then the other half was just like, no. I don't want it given to me. I want to fucking earn this shit. You know, I worked hard on some of this shit, you know? She was like, just give it to Will. He's earned it. I'm like, no. I don't know. I don't want it that way, you know? So Andy's like, we're going to flip a coin. I'm like, what? How does that, what? So he asked the girl, I forgot her. I keep wanting to say Saint. Patty. That was her name. Patty. That was it. So he asked Patty, call it. So boom, he flips the coin, and she calls tails. That's what it was. She calls tails. And, you know, the coin couldn't just hit the fucking ground and just, like, land on heads or tails. No, that would be fucking easy. No, the coin hits the ground, then rolls around the stage for a minute. This was more intense than that fucking coin toss scene in No Country for Old Men, which, if you've ever seen that fucking scene, oh my god, brilliant fucking scene. I've never seen the movie, but I've seen that fucking scene, and it's goddamn brilliant. But, like, I'm waiting for this fucking coin to stop rolling, and I was just like, oh my god. The coin fucking stops rolling. Andy walks over to it, and he's like, tails it is. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And he's like, that's it. And I'm like, that's it? That's how I fucking lose? So I didn't really lose because of my ability. I didn't lose because of the applause, which at one point I fucking did win the applause, but nobody fucking paid attention. I lost because of a coin flip. Like, you know, like, oh man, I was kind of livid about that. So, like, we get done with the lip sync battle, and, like, I'm not bummed, but, like, I'm just like, man, fuck, a coin toss? You know? Meanwhile, Tatiana's texting me on Snapchat about, like, oh, yours was the best, Will, you know, because, like, you know, what she did was kind of fucked up, which we'll save that for that episode. You know, but, like, all around the party, and again, I know what this kind of sounds like. Oh, you're just saying this shit to make yourself sound good. This is, honest to God, what fucking happened. I'm walking around the party, and people are just like, Will, you should have won that. Like, that wasn't right, and everything. People are just like, yeah, that was bullshit, Will, you should have won, and da-da-da-da, all this stuff. Which, I mean, people were, you know, very, you know, nice about it and everything. So I go back to poker night. So here's a nice little side story. So, or two side stories. So, my friend Jamie, who's been on the podcast, she's like, oh, here, look, Will, I recorded it for you. And she only got, like, she missed, like, the first, like, 30 seconds of the song. And I was like, yeah, I know, I got Haley to record it too. And Haley's like, yeah, about that. I was like, what? What's wrong? She was just like, I didn't record it. I was like, what? Why? She was just like, I forgot. I was like, I handed you my phone. I asked you to do it. She was like, yeah, I was kind of wondering why you handed me your phone. I was like, ugh! So there's only like one existing video of me doing it for the first year, and I'll talk about that, you know, the second year here in a minute. The other side story of that is, you know, after the lip sync battle's over, people were just like, Will, you should have won that. Oh my God. So they gave us like these little pieces of paper when we got there for the company party. You turn them in, you get, you know, $100 in fake chips, you know, to play poker night. So I was like, you know what? I feel like going to play some Texas Hold'em. You know, I like Texas Hold'em. So I'm playing with this one guy. I'm playing with our chef of the store and a couple other people. And people are just coming over and handing me their chips because they feel bad that I lost a fucking lip sync battle. So like, here, Will, take all my chips. I'm about to leave, so here you go, man. I was like, oh, thanks. So I'm racking up fucking chips, right? So then it's like me, the chef, and one other person were playing. So I get like I want to say it was Pocket Jacks, you know? So I get Pocket Jacks, and I bet like a fuck ton of fucking chips. Because like I had, you know, I essentially, you know, for once I was playing with like house money, you know? Guy next to me folds. The chef is like looking at his fucking hand. He's looking at me, and I'm like not looking at anything, you know? Like I'm trying not to give a tell or anything like that. And after a few minutes, he's just like, all right, call. So we flipped the hands over and everything, and I took him to the fucking cleaners. You know, I took him for everything he's worth. You know, so after that, our manager, his name was Ryan. Ryan comes by and says, next hand is the last hand, then we're going to count all the chips and see who won. I had no idea we were doing that. I had no idea that, like, at the end of poker night, we were going to be counting chips for anything. You know? So I'm like, oh, shit, okay. So the dealer deals the cards again. I look at my hand. It's a fucking 2-4 offsuit. You know? So I'm just like, okay, fold. So I throw that hand away. You would have thought that, like, I asked the chef to go back to slavery or something because he was so fucking offended by this. It was unreal. You know, he was like, what, you're not going to play the hand? What, you fucking pussy? Well, you're not going to play it? It's the last hand and everything. I'm like, is he for real? Like, at first I thought he was fucking with me. You know, but then he just kept going on and on about, like, you should have played it. It was the last hand. And I finally was just like, dude, it was a 2-4 offsuit. You know, do you not understand fucking poker? You know? So he just kept going on and on to the point where, like, I just counted my chips and I fucking walked away. Because I was like, if I sit here any longer, I'm going to fucking hit him. You know? I ended up with like 20 grand, or no, 13 grand in chips. You know? So I walk over to the manager and, like, I'm livid. You know, because he just kept going on and on and on about me not playing that last hand. So I walk over to him and I was like, and he was like, how many, Will? And I was like, 13-5. You know, and he's like, what's wrong? I was like, nothing. You know, because I've already had a bad night. You know, there was the incident with Tatiana, fucking lost the lip sync battle that I should have fucking won. You know, now I have this fucking shit going on. You know? So after a few minutes, Ryan comes over and hands me a fucking Amazon Echo. You know? And I was like, I won? He was like, you won? I had the most chips, so I won an Amazon Echo. Then on top of that, the chef walks over to me and he was like, hey, man, I'm sorry about all that, man. Congratulations. So he holds out his hand to me. This tells you how much of an asshole I am. I just looked down at his hand, looked back up at him, and I was like, thank you. And I walked away. You know, because I'm like, fuck that noise, dude. You know? So I go on eBay a couple days after the company party. And I was like, let me see if there's like a trophy. Because that's all Andy was giving away was a fucking trophy. So I go on eBay and I'll be damned, there's a lip sync trophy. And you can put like your own little thing on the trophy, you know? So I was like, oh, I'm fucking doing it. You know, because like I fucking won. I'm sorry. Like, you fuckers weren't there. Okay? I'm sorry. The people listening to this weren't there. You know, I won. All right? So I ordered this trophy and I put on there the real lip sync battle winner, put my song and I put my name and everything. So I took a picture with it and everything and I started showing people at work and they're like, that is fucking awesome. You know? So anyway, time goes on. The next year comes around. We're going to have the holiday party again at the Paramount Theater. And boom, there it is. The sign-up sheet goes up. And I get I think I get a text message from one of the girls who worked there. And she was like, look at this. And I was like, oh my God, sign my name. Sign my name right now. She was like, okay. So she signs my name. And I was like, game on. Because like now, not only are we doing lip sync battle again, I'm coming with a vengeance. Because like last year, I was so fucking royally robbed. You know? So I was like, this year I'm coming with a fucking vengeance, man. You know? So, first thing I had to do was pick the song. And believe it or not, the first one that I landed on was an Andrew WK song. It was a song from the Jackass the movie soundtrack called We Want Fun, because that song just has like a lot of energy in it. The only problem with that is that like it has so much energy that like you would not be able to see me actually lip syncing it. So, sorry. So, while it did have a lot of energy, and I think it could have got me the win, I just don't think people would actually see me lip sync into it. So I had to pass on it. And again, I went down the normal routes. I went down Lady Gaga again, except I went with a different song. What was it? Marry the Night? It was possibly Marry the Night, because I was really into Marry the Night. You know, if that fits, I'm pretty sure it fits the time frame. Then I tried ringing the same bell again, and I went to Meghan Trainor. And I was like, because it almost won. It won me last year. Let's call a spade here. Um, it won me last year. So I was like, you know what? Let's go with Dear Future Husband. Like that was it. I was like, Dear Future Husband. I can roll with Dear Future Husband. Like Dear Future Husband. Here's and then like that would fucking stand out and shit. But then hold on just a moment. Um, so sorry about that. I had a little interruption there. So that would stand out. But then I was like, what would really stand out? Britney Spears. And I was like, which song would really stand out? So I went through and Baby One More Time was a contender. So I was thinking Baby One More Time. And I think that was the only one I really was like dead set on. But then I was like, oops, I did it again. And I was like, that's it. I was watching the music video for it, and I actually knew some of the dance moves for that. So I was like, that's it. That's the one right there. I'm doing Britney Spears. Oops, I did it again. So again, the same scenario happens. Andy's there, and I fold up a piece of paper and I hand it to Andy. Same fucking thing happens. He was like, I'm not reading that. I was like, it's my song for lip sync battle. He's like, oh, okay. He opens the paper and he just puts his head down and he's just like, oh, man. I was like, yeah, I know, right? And he's just like, oh, crap. And he just walks away. So now it's really on. Because like I said, I'm coming for vengeance this time, So first thing I do, fucking go to eBay, order a confetti cannon. Because like in Oops, I Did It Again, I know the perfect moment I'm firing that fucking confetti cannon off. There's that moment in the song where he's just like, oh, Brittany, I went to the bottom of the ocean. Oops, I boom, did it. That was the moment I was going to wait for. So, plus, Brittany sometimes wears like a, one of those like headsets and shit. So, I went and bought like one of those like, fake headsets. Like fake toy pop star headsets or whatever. Bought one of those. Looked fucking dope, Then I bought some felt, and I bought like this plain red shirt. And what I did was I cut out the pieces of felt to where on the front of the shirt it said, oops, and then on the back it said, did it again. And if that wasn't fucking enough for you, I had like these lights. There was like a string of lights, and they were hearts, and it had like a little switch on the end. So what I did was I had red duct tape. And what I did was I concealed the light pack, like the battery pack. And I strung the lights around my neck. And so like it was easy for me to just hit the light, like turn them on, and then boom, the lights would be on. So I strung that. So I glued the felt letters to the shirt using I didn't use fabric glue. I used hot glue. That's what I used. And then I duct taped the lights to it. I duct taped the confetti cannon in red duct tape, although everybody knew what the fuck it was. They were just waiting for the moment that time. And so that shit was ready to go, man. So like I had the shit fucking ready. Because like I said, I'm not to be so repetitive with it, I was coming for a vengeance. So then on top of that, I'm watching a dance tutorial on YouTube of the Oops, I Did It Again music video. Now, I know some of the moves from it. There's the fucking heart motion and the pump and everything. I know that. I know that by fucking heart. Some of them I didn't know, though. So, like, I'm trying to keep up with this video teaching me how to fucking dance and everything. I gotta tell you, I don't know how choreographers or dancers and choreographers do that shit because, like, I couldn't do it for the life of me. I tried many, many times too, but I was like, I came up with some shit, and everything to keep me going. But like I tried many times and I just could not do it. You know, coronation is not my fucking, forte. You know, um, so the party comes and like I'm ready, man. I'm just so fucking ready for this because I was just like I waited a fucking year to do this again. You know, plus this year people know to bring it. Like the year before, people were just like, "Oh, this is gonna be a fun little thing," and then they see me last year. So this year, people know, like, okay, fuck, Will's not gonna fuck around. So like, we have to up our game some. So people actually did up their game. Like some guy did that country song, like, "I'm gonna buy me a truck." He actually brought an electric truck to ride around in on stage, although that was pretty much all he had. You know, uh, the one couple, I'm going to mention them later, they did a parody song, which I thought was a weird play, but they did a parody song of Adele's Hello, but it was about like eating food, you know? Okay. Uh, One girl did Fergalicious by Fergie, but it was mainly dancing. Um, she was hot though, spoiler alert, she wins, you know? Um, and I think that's all I can remember. You know. Um, oh, and one guy just did. He did another country song. It was like "Everything's Gonna Be All Right," but he was a little, special. So we didn't really, judge him. Like judge him in a entertainment aspect. So anyway, again, I asked Andy. I was like, I want to go as close to last as possible. He's like, you got it. So it comes time. And I had my friend at the time, Mia. I was like, Mia, can you record this for me? And she goes, yeah, I got you. And I was like, please don't forget to record. She was like, I got you. And she didn't. So I go on stage and I put the fucking confetti blaster right in the middle of the stage again. And I get to it, man. Like fucking, oh my God, they had an MC this year. Usually Andy's the MC for our fucking company parties, but they got an MC. And this guy, he almost got a backhand for me, man, because like, oh God, what was he doing? Like he kept like commentating during the lip sync battles and everything. And so when he called my name, they're just like, okay, doing Britney Spears' "Oops, I Did It Again," Will Cooper. So I come up the stairs, and the first thing is just dun dun. Oh yeah, and he's like, oh, he kind of looks like her too, and I was just like, you better stop. And like even, oh God, who was it? I think it was my friend Haley. Haley was just like, I knew the second he said that was not a good thing, because like if he would have kept going, I would have fucking like I would have pointed to him or something, because like we weren't gonna have that bullshit, you know. So I keep going and everything. I'm doing the fucking dance moves and everything. I'm doing it and everything. Also, I rigged my shirt. Like I was wearing like a button-up shirt, and I rigged it, or I glued on snap-on buttons. You know, so like what I did was I took off the regular buttons and I used the snap-on buttons. So like at a part in the song, I can just rip the shirt off. You know. So the part comes where it's just like, I thought the old lady dropped into the ocean at the end. That's when I pick up the fucking confetti blaster. And he's like, well, baby, I went down there and got it for you. Oops, I did it. That was going to be the moment where, like, oops, boom, confetti, rip off the shirt. That was the plan. Okay? So, well, I thought the old lady dropped into the ocean. Well, baby, I went down there and got it for you. Oh, you shouldn't have. Oops, and I'm twisting the fucking confetti cannon, and it's not going off. I'm like, oh, fuck. So I just whipped that shit behind me. I drop it. That's what I did. I dropped it. Because, like, I was like, fuck it. So I rip off the shirt, hit the lights on the fucking shirt, and you can just tell I'm deflated. And, like, to this day, if you look at the footage, to this day, I swear I was there. You can't hear it in the footage. But I swear on my life, when I was on stage, when I twist that confetti cannon and it doesn't go off, I just hear like a collective, like I hear like a gasp, because they knew I fucked up, So, and like I've been on stage before where, like I forget a line, missing the fucking lyrics and shit, and I'm able to cover that shit up real quick. This was something I was not able to cover up real quick, you know? So I dropped the fucking confetti cannon, ripped the shirt open. I go into the dance moves again, the heart pump, the heart twist, all that shit. And you could just tell I'm deflated because I'm just like, fuck, that was my big fucking moment. I waited a fucking year for this fucking moment, So, I pick up the cannon again because I'm like, all right, let's try it again. Let's fix this shit, So there's like another moment where it's like, oops, I did it. When it goes into that did it, I'm gonna twist this fucking confetti cannon and we're gonna get this, So it's like, oops, I did it. I twist the cannon again, doesn't go off. I was like, fuck. So I just whipped the cannon behind me. I was like, fuck it, and just threw it behind me, and I finished the song, and you can just tell I'm so fucking deflated. Like, all the energy that I had just fucking went out the door, you know? So, did I? Okay. So, I was looking at my notes, sorry. Um, so, they had judges for this year, because last year it was round of applause, and they didn't want another coin flip incident. So they had impartial judges, which was like the plus ones of people who came and everything. So they had them all come up on stage and tell Andy who they think won. And like I said, it wasn't me this time. And it was Fergalicious. Who, I mean, don't get me wrong, she danced very well, but she barely lip synced. But she was good. So, but the people who did the parody song to Adele's Hello, they actually felt cheated because they felt like they put on the better show because they actually like dumped French fries and shit on them. They brought like exercise balls. Again, everybody up their game. Just about everybody up their game because, like I said, they saw last year and they're just like, oh fuck, So this year they're just like, okay, Will's gonna bring it, so I gotta fucking bring it. I felt like that. I fucking made them raise the bar. You know. And I remember Andy coming over to me like after it was all said and done. I'm sitting at one of the tables, and he came over and sat down next to me, and he was just like, "So, do you feel cheated this year?" I was like, "No, I don't, but I just fuck that damn cannon didn't go off." He was like, "Yeah, no, that's gotta suck, man." He was just like, "All right." He was like, "Well, if it makes you feel better, somebody else feels cheated." I was like, "Who?" And he was like, "The people who did I forgot the name of the song, but people who did the Adele parody." I was like, "Oh, do they?" He was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh well," and then he got up and left. So, um, here's a funny story about that though. So, the year before, when I was like, "Here, Haley, record me going up there," and she didn't do it. My friend Jamie recorded it. That's the only angle we had of it. But for some reason this year, I fucking fail epically, and I get like 5 angles of it because like Mia recorded it. My friend Jesse recorded it. Deborah recorded it. Fucking 2 other people. I was like, great. I had me failing at 5 different angles and shit. Awesome. Fantastic. You know? So after that was said and done, I eventually go on and make the short film, Destined to Fail, My Lip Sync Battle Journey, which is pretty much what you just heard here, just, with visuals and everything. And my friend Haley one day sends me a link or a flyer or something like that of a bar near here having a lip sync battle. And the first thing that came to mind was Britney Spears' "Baby One More Time." I mean, that's one thing I told him at work. Like there was there was a guy and a girl. It was Kale and Abby. And I was like, and we're talking about it. I was like, I swear, if we do it again next year, this is before I got fired and shit. I was like, I swear, if we do it next year, I'm gonna do "Baby One More Time" by Britney Spears. I'm gonna do the whole fucking get up, man. I'm gonna do the plaid skirt, the pom poms in the hair, everything. And there's like a pause, and then Abby's just like, please don't. So, just her reaction to that was just gold. So, I get the flyer of like lip sync battle in town, and I actually thought about going to do it. You know, because I still wanted that fucking moment of winning because I know I can fucking win. You know, but sadly I didn't go, and like I've never seen anything like that around here since. You know, like and plus the show on Paramount Network, whatever fucking network it's on now. I mean, that doesn't come on as frequently anymore, which is a shame. You know, because it actually was a good show. You know, but yeah, that's the story you didn't ask for. You know, my journey in lip sync battles right there. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode here. And might see you next week. Not for sure. Might switch it to a bi-weekly format. We'll see how this goes. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this week's episode. And yeah, until next week, guys, I am the ArtistVersion1. And remember, be breezy.